Takanuvas Blog. My name is Takanuva, Toa of Light. For the past day, month, year, I have been traveling through other dimensions, trying to find my way to Cardanui. I was sent on my journey by the Order of Matanui, who gave me vital information I must share with the Toa Nuva. Unfortunately, the mask whose power hurled me into space between dimensions was damaged, so the trip has been a rough one. Hopefully, my next stop will be my own universe. I see a point of light in the distance. After 3 wrong destinations, I can only wish that this is Cardanui. Fighting the currents of interdimensional space, I make for the spot. It is a portal opening to another reality. Desperately, I dive for it. On the other side, I land hard on a small island of mud. All around me is murky water and weird plant life. Have I found Cardanui, the core of the universe? Or simply another strange world not my own? I am in a swamp surrounded by mist. Now and then I spot a fin or a tentacle break the surface of the muddy water, but I don't see many other Rahi around. Am I where I am supposed to be? Using my new power of flight, I rise into the air. That's when I spot her, a Toa of water being menaced by a pale white skeletal monstrosity. I don't know if that's Gali or not, but I know a Toa in danger when I see one. Let's see if I can shed a little light on this with my power lance. A burst of light made the creature menacing my fellow Toa stop and take notice. I expected it to attack or scream out its rage, or do something else I wouldn't enjoy at all. Instead, the look on its face was almost one of sadness and resignation, almost as if it knew that I or someone like me was coming, but had hoped against hope that I wouldn't show up. Then it drifted down through the mud like a spirit and vanished. Wherever I am, this is a very strange place. Using my newfound ability to fly, the result of a Makuta virus I was exposed to in an alternate universe, I traveled to where the Toa was just getting to her feet. As I got closer, I realized that despite the differences in her appearance, it was Gali, and despite how I looked, she recognized me. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Even as I said, "Are you all right?" I told her it was a long story, and there wasn't time to tell it. We had to find the others. They had to know how much danger they were in. Gali looked at me as if she were just seeing me for the first time. "What happened to you?" she asked. "Your armor, your mask, and is it me, or have you grown bigger?" The darkening of my armor and mask I already knew about. It was a side effect of the Shadow Leech attack on Metronui. But I had grown in size? Yes, I guess I had, though I had no idea what did it mean. Would it stop, or would I keep growing larger? A Turaga might know the answers, but there were none around. Like far too many situations I had been in lately, I would have to learn as I went. Gali was ready to head off in search of the other Toa Nuva, but I had something I felt I had to do first. I unlimbered the sundial I carried with me and placed it on the muddy ground. I shone a beam of light on its face, and the shadow that resulted pointed to the east. "Okay, so I keep going that way," I said. Gali looked at me confused. Is this that sundial Liwa retrieved from the island of Matanui? How did it get so small? And what are you using it for?" Those, at least, were questions I could answer. "You know the Order of Matanui?" I said to Gali. "They told me you did. They shrunk the sundial down and gave it to me. When I shine light upon it, it points toward the spot from which the Great Spirit can be awakened." Gali looked at me as if I had grown 2 more heads, which, the way things were going, I would have believed. She was about to ask me if I was quite sure I was okay when we both spotted a gleam of orange off to the east. It was closing on us rapidly, and the dark side of me urged me to prepare to attack. It was getting harder and harder to resist those impulses, and maybe in this case they were right. After all, I didn't know any orange Toa. I was ready for anything as the orange figure approached, flying at impossible speed. Gali, though, looked undisturbed by the new arrival. She placed a hand on my arm, a signal that all was well, and it turned out the new arrival was Pohatu, though he did not look much like the Toa of stone I remembered. He looked me up and down for a moment before saying, "I can't say I think much of the color change." "You should talk," I replied. "You're orange." "Yeah, but I wear it well," said Pohatu with a grin. Pohatu, Gali, and I flew to the east, toward where my 2 friends said the other Toa Nuva could be found. Along the way, they brought me up to date on what had been happening. Their arrival in Cardanui, the discovery of the Makuta here, and the revelation that they had been turning Matoran of Light into Shadow Matoran. That last sickened me. I knew now that I must be a Matoran of Light in the past. Though those memories were blocked, I probably worked alongside some of the Matoran the Makuta had corrupted. They might have been good friends. Right then and there I swore that no matter what, even if it meant Matanui stayed asleep, even at the cost of my own life, I would see to it that the Shadow Matoran were cured. We had only been flying a few minutes when Gally spotted something down below. A moment later so did I. Half a dozen insectoids, each about 7 feet high, flying close to the surface of the swamp. Each had 4 arms with nasty stingers on the ends. "What are they?" I asked. "I heard they are called Nyazesk," answered Pohatu. "Some little pets of the Makuta who got transformed somehow into big pests, you see. Better off staying away from them than... There..." An angry buzz interrupted him. The Nyazesk spotted us and were coming in our direction. "We don't have time for this," growled Pohatu. He used his power to hurl stone blocks down at the approaching Nyazesk, but they were good flyers and evaded his attack. Gally took down one with the water burst, but they were closing fast. I didn't need to be told that sting from one of them could do more than itch. I started to lower my staff to use a light blast against them, but then I thought, what if it isn't powerful enough? What if 1 or 2 get through and Pohatu or Gally gets harmed? I made my decision. I raised my right arm to call upon the power of shadow. I unleashed a blast of pure darkness at the oncoming Nyazesk. It struck them like a solid wall. They spun, reeled, and then plunged down into the swamp. I turned to Pohatu and Gally, expecting to get congratulations for winning the fight. Instead, what I saw in their eyes was fear. "What was that?" asked Pohatu, and he was actually aiming his weapon at me as he said it. "There have been some changes," I answered. "So I see," said Pohatu. I wondered whether the Makuta of Metronui was still alive, and if so, where he had got to. I guess I know now, don't I? "Are you crazy?" I said, staring at Pohatu. "You think I'm a Makuta?" "Well, you don't look much like a Toa of Light," the Toa of Stone replied, his weapon still aimed at me. "And we've all been fooled by Makuta before." Gally looked from Pohatu to me. Even she was showing some doubt now, and who could blame her? I had grown in size, and my armor color had changed from white and gold to white and gray. Frankly, if I had been a Makuta trying to impersonate a Toa of Light, I'd be doing a really lousy job. I racked my brain trying to come up with some way to prove it was me. Try it sometime. It's not easy. I could use my light powers, but Pohatu might think that just a Makuta illusion. I could use my mask power to promote trust in him, but I had a feeling the second he felt a shift in mood, he would blast away. "If you're really Takanuva, then I'm sorry," said Pohatu. "But if you're not, all our lives aren't worth a widget, so I'm giving you to the count of 10 to tell me why I shouldn't skyblast you out of existence. 1, 2, 3... To be continued.